Hello and welcome to the latest episode of Beyond the Reels. Joining me today is Jeremy Coleman, Commercial Director of PearFiction Studios. How are you doing, Jeremy?
I'm very well, thanks, Danny. Yeah, nice to meet you.
So, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your role at PearFiction Studios?
I've been working in online gaming since about 2006. Started on the operator side, working for a couple of the larger operators around at that time. And in about 2012, I moved over to the B2B side, which I really prefer. I spent about 4 years at NetEnt prior to this role, and I've been with PearFiction for just over a year. But basically, my role at PearFiction involves the sales and marketing efforts for our games and maximising the revenue opportunities for each game that we put out there. It's a varied role that I thoroughly enjoy.
Today, we'll be looking at the Treasures of Kilauea slot. So could you just tell me how PearFiction came up with the idea for this title?
A lot of the initial ideas for our slots tend to come from Thierry Semoff, who's our CEO and founder. These get brought to the team, they're discussed, they're fine-tuned with the game designers, the production teams that we have, with myself as well. We look at each theme, we discuss various game themes, we look at the mechanics, we look at what's trending right now. We tend to do a lot of market research, see what players are playing at the moment. Any of the team are free to come up with new ideas for games or features. But this one, this was one of Thierry's. This is one of his ideas.
Okay, well, it's interesting to see how a slot can progress from an idea to the actual game itself. So what was the inspiration behind the volcanic theme for this slot?
We've not done anything with that volcano theme, that island theme. We were keen to explore that. We've seen a few of the island or the volcano, the tiki style Hawaiian themed games. There's a few around that we think are very good, but we wanted to take that volcanic theme to a new level and with a great new mechanic. So far, all of our games have been very character based, and we wanted to do that for Treasures of Kilauea as well. So we really made the volcano the star of the game, rather than just have a flat image sat next to the real set that doesn't actually do anything. We wanted to make sure that the volcano was very interactive, particularly when the player is momentarily inactive. The volcano will snore, he might puff, he might pant, he might cough. He really lets the player know that he wants to see those reels spinning. So that was the inspiration really behind developing this particular game.
Okay, cool. So the title includes something called lava spins. Could you just explain what this is and how it might impact the player's experience?
Sure. So the lava spins are really exciting. They give players a quick sense of the win potential within the base game for Treasures of Kilauea. This is our first foray into the persistent type of feature, similar to Scarab, which is really, really popular in some of the land-based games that we've been looking at recently. And with Treasures of Kilauea, during the base game, what happens is on every spin, you collect volcano symbols that have the fiery frames, which are sticky on the reel set. So when those volcano symbols drop in, the frame itself will be on fire and it will be sticky, but the reel or the symbol will clear and it will respin. Now the lava spins are every 10 spins, those sticky frames will turn into random wilds, and that will generate a win for the player. So what's really exciting for the player is they've only got to give the game 10 spins to see something exciting actually happen within the base game. And it makes them think, it makes them look at the game and think, oh, I didn't expect that to happen. But what we've done is we've made it very clear within the graphics of the game that this is something that is happening within the game. But obviously with every new game, every new player is looking at the game and working it out and just seeing where the potential is, what the features are, etc., etc. And with this game, we've taken it to another level because what we've done, as well as have those lava spins every 10 spins, we've made it even more exciting because on the 50th spin, as well as those random wilds that will appear, the volcano will actually erupt and give additional wilds that will sort of land down on the real set. So it's an opportunity for a bigger win. And if one of those random wilds, which becomes a lava ball, actually lands on an existing wild, it actually creates a 2 times multiplier. So really nice chance for a decent win on those 50th spins there. So we really like the lava spins and the eruption spins. We think it's a great feature within the game, and it's proven to be popular with the players.
Yeah, I do find it interesting how the title does actually sort of show players when they will be receiving bonuses. It's something that you don't really see with most slots, so yeah, very intriguing. So, as slot developers are constantly trying to bring new players to their titles, could you explain how PearFiction designed a slot like this to attract players that may have never gambled before?
Well, that's an interesting question. So what we try and do is we try and put ourselves in the place of the player. Most of the guys in the studio are players themselves to varying degrees, but we try and put ourselves in the place of the player who's holding his mobile device or looking at his laptop. And we believe that players want to be entertained. So when we build our games, we want to bring that level of entertainment to each game that we create. Again, it goes back to the point I made earlier about having characters in our games, and we find that resonates very well with the players. Those characters that we've created before, like the piggy in Squealing Riches, the mammoth in Blazing Mammoth, or maybe the mob boss or the femme fatale in Chicago Gold, they're all great characters, and they really make the game stand out. We also try and make the base game as fun and engaging as we can, so that the players can experience different features throughout all aspects of the game. We want the players to go on a journey, and we don't want them to just sit there and have to do 250, 300 spins to get into a bonus round that may or may not pay out as you would want. So we're not a one feature type of studio. If there's a bonus game, we'll make sure it's got more than one option. We like to give players the choice as well, which means that there's depth in terms of the number of features that we like to create. It keeps our development and our creative teams very, very busy, but we feel that the end product is much nicer that way.
Can you walk us through what a player might expect to experience when just playing the base game?
The colours are very bright, they're very vivid. Players get a very good visual experience when playing our games. Also, I'm going to give credit to our musical composer as well. He's hugely talented, takes so much time over the audio track. So any player coming into one of our games is going to have a sort of a visual and audio feast like no other studio, we believe. But with this particular game, the real set, like I say, is nice and bright and colourful. You've got the volcano just to the right-hand side of the reel set, and you'll spin those reels. The audio is really, really nice, and hopefully on your first 1 or 2 spins, one of those volcano symbols will drop in, and the player will see that frame will light up, and immediately they'll be thinking, why is that lit up? What's going on? And as more of those drop in, hopefully, I would say usually within a 10 spin cycle, the player should see anywhere from 3 to maybe half a dozen, maybe 7 or 8 of those fiery symbols, which on the 10th spin will convert into those lava spins, and it will generate a win. So immediately, the player is engaged with the game. They can see it's bright, it's cheerful, it's fun, it's engaging, and there's lots going on. So we believe that the players should be engaged almost from the first spin.
So with all of these factors to consider when making a slot, did PearFiction come across any difficulties when making Treasures of Kilauea?
When we have a team of those dedicated people, including a mathematician as well, they're very sort of focused on the game. One thing we did have, actually just thinking about it with Treasures of Kilauea, is when we started testing the game and we started showing it to people, it became clear that maybe the visual element behind the lava spins and the eruption spins was not that clear for the player. And although we knew what was going on, visually we could make it more impactful and more engaging and just a lot clearer for the player. So that's what we did. We completely revamped the graphics on the two little geckos that sit, the stone geckos that sit above the real set that have the countdowns on. And one of them is counting down the lava spin and the other one is counting down the eruption spin. So we changed that element to make it far more obvious that those lava spins were coming in and those eruption spins were only, so many spins away. And I think that's had a really positive impact on the game performance.
We've delved into them a bit already, but the title is packed with bonus game modes and symbols and different features. Could you just walk us through these different features that are on offer?
We've got the lava spin, we've got the eruption spin on the 50th spins. Those are the key features within the base game. And I think the players really enjoy seeing the volcano erupt and throwing lots of random wilds all over the real set. That's a nice feature. We've also got a jackpot available with this game. So on the top row, if the jackpot symbol lands in that center position, then the players will be taken away from the real set through the jungle to the jackpot wheel. And that jackpot wheel can win you up to 5,000x. It's a straightforward spin the wheel. We've not made it too complicated, but it's a nice addition to the game. And also with the jackpot wheel and also with the free spins, we build a lot of anticipation. And you see that with all of our games. From the very first game that we did, which was Chicago Gold, the next one being Blazing Mammoth, that sense of anticipation when, for instance, if it's the free spins, if two free spin symbols have come in and we're waiting for that third, then we'll light up the reel set, we'll bring the reels forward, the audio will change completely, and it will really keep players on the edge of their seat, and they'll be anticipating that, thinking, oh, is it going to drop in? And obviously, sometimes it does and sometimes it doesn't. But we make a big point of making that player anticipation really quite special. So you'll see that within this game. Also within the free spins, we've made this really, really exciting. I'm really proud of the free spin game. So you need a minimum of 3 free spins symbols to get into the free spin game. But you can get 4, you can get 5. If you get 3 of the free spin symbols, then you get into the bonus game, and then you have a choice. So you can choose between the number of free spins and the number of random wilds you want. So you can have 10 free spins with 5 random wilds. You could have 5 free spins with 10 random wilds, or you could have 7 and 7. And that really gives the player an element of control, or an element that they feel like they're in control. They're in control of their own destiny. And obviously some players will always go for the number of free spins that they think will generate the biggest win. And experienced players tend to go for a shorter number of free spins, or a smaller number of free spins, but with a higher potential on each free spin. So it would be with the 10 random wilds. However, if you're lucky enough to get 4 of the free spin symbols in the base game, then we double the amount of free spins that you'll get. You'll still get the same number of random wilds, but we'll double. So you can get up to 30, because it's 15 and 5. If you're lucky enough to get 5 of the free spin symbols, then we will triple the number of free spins. So you can get up to 45. And there's also a retrigger. So if you are lucky enough to get into the free spin game with 5 free spin symbols, and you select 45 free spins with 5 random wilds, and you're lucky enough to get that retrigger, you will get a total of 90 free spins, which is really high. And again, that makes the game so much more exciting than a lot on offer at the moment.
Great. So with this slot, PearFiction has made an entertaining and well-designed title. But could you just tell us what PearFiction has in store for the future and the rest of the year?
Our next games are due out probably in a few months' time. We've got some great games lined up. We've got potentially a Mega Moolah version of Treasures of Kilauea, which might come out possibly the beginning of 2023. But we've got some really cool themes that we're very excited about. We've got some new mechanics, but also what we're going to do is we're going to go back and explore some of the mechanics that have worked for us really well so far. So the Swift Hits mechanic has done well. We're going to reuse that. And also the mechanic that we used with our Squealing Riches game. That's been our most popular game so far. And we're going to go back and see what we can do to explore new themes and expand on that game and see if we can do something really, really cool. So there's a lot going on. The teams are very, very busy, and we expect to have some new content coming out in the coming months.
Well, we look forward to seeing all those slots and covering that content. So thank you ever so much for joining us today, Jeremy. It's been a pleasure to speak to you, and we wish PearFiction all the best with Treasures of Kilauea.
Thank you very much indeed. Pleasure.